Hello, and welcome to a very special deltagreen one-shot. I'm Sergio, your handler, and I am with Mayday, where we love highlighting indie RPGs with immersive roleplay.
Hello, my name is Candace, also known as Candace the Magnificent. My pronouns are they, she, and a sprinkle of he, and I am here representing Three Black Halflings. There are 4 of us on that show, very counterintuitive to the name, I know, but we are a show that's all about ttrpg, nerdery, intersectionality as well. We're getting a little bit more political these days with some of our content, so if you are interested in some unique and diverse perspectives, please check us out. We are available anywhere that you can listen to your pods at number 3 Black Halflings.
Hello, I'm Craig Austin, aka Caradios, from the lovely team over at Red Moon Roleplaying. We specialize in spooky horror games. We try and make them fun and a little bit serious, though we also branch out into a lot of other games as well, including a lot of indie games, which we do like to try and promote. If you want to hear more about that, check us out at redmoonroleplaying.com, and you can check out our Patreon. We're available on most standard feeds, and yes, I'm very happy to be here today.
Hey, it's Ross Payton with Roleplaying Public Radio. This is, I'm Ross Payton of Roleplaying Public Radio, RPPR Actual Play. I love deltagreen and horror games in general, and very excited to be here. You can check me out at patreon.com/RPPR, where we have bonus podcasts where we talk about weird RPGs and talk about, our role-playing game is art form and storytelling. And I am excited to be here. So.
We are playing a scenario called Looks Could Kill, which is available to download for free on our Patreon over at Mayday. I want to give a special thanks to a patron, Erik T, who helped me edit this scenario. I have assembled these 3 lovely people as a cross-promotion between our channels. Please make sure to check out each and every one of them, as they are all worth your time. This episode will be available on all 4 of our platforms for our patrons. As a trigger warning, this session may contain strong language, body horror, and death, so viewer discretion is advised. With that, if everyone here at the table is ready, let's begin. The city of Boston in early autumn feels unsettled. A damp chill clings to the brick and the steel as the first Friday of fall dawns gray and restless. The Charles runs low and sluggish. The streets shine faintly from a misting rain, while the first rush hour traffic begins to choke the city awake. And each of you are awoken by an early morning message. Maybe it's a phone vibrating on your nightstand, or a coded email pinging into a burner inbox. However it comes, a voice you haven't heard in months is reminding you of your obligations. It is time to get to work. You are summoned, not to a military base or a government office, but to a library. The Beatley Library, which sits in the shadow of Fenway Park. Its glass facade reflects the drab morning light. At this hour, it is nearly empty, only a handful of students huddled over their books, their lives still blissfully ordinary. You are directed to a private conference room, which has been reserved for you. Inside, your bespectacled, nervous case officer waits, Agent Clark in his usual stiff posture. The air inside is already heavy with dread. This is where your lives diverge from the city outside. The day is already curdling into something unnatural.
Agent Marquez is a petite Black woman. She has a tuft of shoulder-length, kinky, curly hair that she has wrangled back into a tight bun. There are sprigs of that hair kind of poking out everywhere, and a pencil and one of those pen rulers that extend out of like a little case that are stuck in her hair, almost the way that somebody might use other kind of hair accessories to keep their hair in place. She's curvaceous and is wearing the normal blazer that you would see on an agent, somebody who is obviously dressing for business. She has a tie on, slacks, very comfortable and nondescript shoes, and a loud Bahama shirt underneath this. It is not super bright, but the pattern is arresting if you focus on it for a little too long. There is an element to her of deep seriousness despite this kind of ridiculous shirt. And I think she sits down at one of the tables and starts to immediately kind of catalog her surroundings. She has a notepad, like a field notes pad, that she pulls out of the front of her blazer, the little pocket that's there, and sort of like sits patiently waiting for someone to call her over.
Agent Moorgate enters shortly after Agent Marquez. He is dressed in a similar smart fashion, but no tie, slightly more casual. He is a youngish gentleman, possibly late 20s, short dark hair, cleanly shaven, steely grey eyes, slightly small nose, and slightly below average height. But he doesn't exude a lack of non-confidence. He seems confident enough, though, as he comes in and sits on a chair. He always carries a small notepad and, of course, a laptop case, which he takes out immediately and begins idly checking his emails or checking something out. But he does acknowledge Agent Marquez with a polite nod, and also just sits back, sipping his early morning coffee, interested to see what awaits in this briefing. I hope it's something that pays good money because, well, we all have bills to pay.
Agent Michael, real name Mitchell Billings, comes in. He could be mistaken for a roofer. He's in his late 20s, wearing Carhartt jacket and jeans. He still reeks of cigarette smoke. He just finished a cigarette before he came in. He's carrying a cup of Dunkin' coffee, and just looks around, blank expression. He reads either military or cop. Straight posture and a crew cut, a hair, and but doesn't seem to care what seems oblivious to what's going on, but quietly checking every corner and sitting down and just waiting, nothing in hand, just drinking coffee and staring, looking around.
Agent Clark allows the three of you to settle into the conference room. He has this nervous tic where he scrunches his nose and his glasses kind of slowly slide down his nose, only for him to lift them back up again. But he says to you all, "This is a rare occasion for us. We are jumping on a developing situation only a couple hours behind as opposed to days. So how about we not waste the opportunity?" Around 8:30 this morning, I was informed by our channels that the CDC was called to a home in the neighboring town of Dorchester. My source inside the department elaborated that around 7:30, a mother, and he looks to a paper in front of him, one Angelia Williams, called 911 saying she found the body of her oldest son, Desmond, in the living room. In the transcript, she describes the body as, quote, he flaps the paper again, shriveled and petrified with a look of terror frozen on his poor face. And then he kind of looks up through his glasses at the three of you. I'm guessing that a combination of the body's unusual state and the witness's testimony was enough to scare the authorities into contacting the CDC. As we speak, a team from the CDC is performing a sweep of the home for contaminants. they'll probably have some answers for you by the time you arrive, and that's where you come in. I need the three of you to inject yourselves into the investigation and assess it. Figure out what killed the guy, and if it's unnatural, confiscate it, including the body. If you can't steal it, then destroy it. Any questions?
Yeah, why do you think this is not just a, House MD case? Why is this our problem?
Well, I don't know if you know how bodies rot, but turning into what sounds like a petrified mummy is not normal. And listen, above my pay grade, somebody thought it was important that we look into it.
Agent Marquez chimes in. No, you wouldn't have heard of a story like this before. This sounds unique and interesting. How soon can I have access to the body? I would like to perform a full autopsy if one hasn't already been done on the cadaver.
The sooner you get to the home. As far as I understand, this is all so fresh that nothing's been moved. Everyone is kind of scratching their heads, so I think you'll have access to it the moment you arrive.
Oh, this is my moment. You've been moving me around for a long time, and I am ready for this assignment, sir. You won't regret it. Thank you.
Interesting. When you say petrified, do you literally mean petrified as in turned to stone or something? Or do you simply mean very, 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 very scared?
Stone wasn't mentioned in the correspondence between the mother and the 911 dispatcher, so I don't really know the answer to that. You guys are going to have to figure it out.
What makes you so sure, in regard to the mission statement you just gave, that the source of the affliction will be present in the household? It could have been done by someone who has long since left the premises.
Excellent questions, all for you to figure out. I'm just giving you the information.
Agent Michael, what's our cover then?
Due to the quick turnaround of this, I don't really have a lot of cover for you. I would suggest you, being a special agent, you come in and push your weight around. You are a local. I think that people would believe the story. You mentioned you've got 2 experts with you. Sorry, I just don't have much more.
Okay. Well, if the CDC's involved, then, it's a... Okay, I'll see what the CDC thinks of it, and then, I'll go from there.
Just do what you can. Again, this is mostly a hunch. It could be nothing and your day could be over before lunch.
A petrification is never nothing. Even when it happens out in nature in the wild, it is studied. This deserves the same kind of respect.
Oh, I intend to be respectful, Agent Marquez. Don't want to get any of it on me.
That's what I'm here for. She takes a pair of gloves out of her bag and kind of snaps them on into place. I'm not worried. I'm not afraid of, a little gore.
Good, well, I feel better already, and I smile and bow my head to Agent Marquez.
Okay, well, let's, what time is it?
I'll say it's about 9:30.
So, and the call was like an hour ago or 2 hours ago from the family?
Agent Clark nods and says, yeah, I got the call. The call themselves, that happened closer to about 8.
Okay. Wow. CDC probably barely have time to get anybody in at the house by, they have a place here in Boston, so they can move in. All right, well, I'll contact the CDC and see what they think of the case and see if they want FBI assistance, and then I can rope the other agents in.
Agent Clark looks at the 3 of you. Good luck. Let me know if you need anything. I'll be around.
Okay.
He stands up and walks out.
So, did the 2 of you have training in biohazard and hazmat suit training and all that?
I'll be honest, this is probably going to be my first time getting so close. Perhaps you two would be better handling the nitty-gritty, but...
Well, I think Agent Marquez sort of volunteered for that.
I did, yes. It is not something that I am squeamish about. Hazmat suit training, I have had a little bit of that, but I prefer to kind of get my hands dirty, which hazmat suit training expressly prohibits.
I might be able to quickly look into the current CDC report and just see if they themselves have dubbed the situation a biohazard incident. If they haven't, maybe we'll be okay with basic security measures. Agent Marquez.
Well, we also need to look at the family. My thinking is, either this is random or out of the blue, or someone in the family has led a vector to their doorstep. So, we need to see if anything's changed in the family recently, if they've received threats, or, something, their great-grandfather died and they inherited some weird artifact, who knows? Any number of things like that. So we need to look at the family, and we also need to look at the CDC and to get our clearance to make sure no one asks why we're here.
I couldn't agree more, Agent Michael. We do need to look at the family. If anyone else is having symptoms of this, maybe an active infection of some kind, we'd want to catch it before they're, stone dead.
I snap out the laptop and say, I should be able to get a reasonable amount of phone call logs, emails. Maybe that can cover the preliminary work there, Agent Matthew.
Okay, so, yeah, Agent Michael takes out his phone and dials up the CDC, the local office, and starts making inquiries about the Dorchester incident, and starts sort of insinuating like, there's been some chatter about a possible terrorist using some sort of bio or chemical weapon. Do you think this is it? Would you like the FBI's assistance in this? That kind of thing. We can do this as we're driving to Dorchester. I'm just trying to figure out how to worm our way into the investigation without, stepping on CDC toes. So we should probably take two cars. I guess Agent Marquez and I can travel together, and Agent Moorgate, you can take your car.
Acceptable.
Yeah. So we're not stuck with one car on at Dorchester.
Agent Michael does not hide that they are listening in on your conversation. They're leaning in, trying to hear every single thing that you say to these people and how they talk to you.
You call the CDC, and they confirm that there is a team out there. They mentioned that a Dr. Wendy Murakami is the lead medical examiner and investigator on the site. They do not have an update from them, but they said that they have been there for about a half hour. And in fact, the concern was so great, they actually sent a mobile autopsy shipping crate that has been planted in the neighborhood. And they said that if you're on the way, you'll probably learn from Dr. Murakami sooner than they will. But local FBI is welcome to assist.
Great.
The inside of Agent Marquez's car, which is a very compact sedan, very responsible looking car, very nondescript. It is a dark gray color, no stickers or other identifying materials, very normal plate. When you get inside, there is a smell of a new car and pine air freshener, which you see kind of up on hanging from the rear view mirror. And there are bottles of empty bottles of water, different food wrappers, just general refuse. This person goes from one job to the next job to the next job and doesn't really stop. There are also assorted animal cages in the back seat that have a very fetid kind of smell coming from them, and there are more air fresheners hanging all over those cages. And when you get inside, she gives you a very kind of surprised look, like she didn't know that her car was disgusting, and just kind of holds out a hand in front of you as though to like shield you from looking at the backseat. I do some casual work on the weekends. You know, the animal control is so untimely these days. You just see carcasses out there in the street, and you know, what better way to practice your skills? Just don't worry, I won't pick anything up while we're together today.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe it's something small. We could use them. My parents have things like that. They trap raccoons in the backyard because they go at the bird feeder. So, well, I get it.
Oh, Agent Michael, it's a pleasure to have you riding with me today.
Mind if I smoke? I just roll the window down and start smoking before you answer.
She looks at you with a mixture of indulgence and concern, and says, "Those things will kill you." But unfortunately, in this business, so will a lot of things.
Honestly, that's... Well, yeah, hopefully I last long enough.
My vehicle is cheap, affordable, but clean and tidy in comparison to Agent Marquez's car. It does its job, but I have upgraded a little on the dashboard. There's quite a few USB sticks and places to put USB chargers that I've, maybe put in a few more than the car strictly should have, but again, I know my way a little around electronics and mechanics, so it's not a problem for me anyway. I will follow the others, letting them take the lead in the convoy, as it were, and again, keeping my eye on the road, I will just begin running a few automated systems that I have on my phone and laptop to begin that initial data delve. Nothing too crazy. Social media posts, from social media posts, photos, people who talk to people, and then seeing if there's any obvious information, because in this day and age, so many people post far too much about themselves online. It really is too easy sometimes. So yes, particularly focusing on Miss Agina Williams and her poor son Desmond Williams, and any other family members of note.
The drive to the neighborhood in Dorchester is busy with traffic. There's a heavier drizzle of rain that comes down and forces you to turn on your wipers. But you all arrive to a relatively modest, lower-income neighborhood, and you can see just a few streets up, or just a few houses up, the home that is on the address that you have been given by your case officer. Agent Moorgate, as you pull up, the scans have completed, and using the names of Angelia Williams and Desmond Williams, you are able to find their social media. The mother has a standard Facebook. It appears to have photos of her along with two sons, one older, looking to be in his early 20s, late teens, and a younger son, and then a husband. The husband seems to no longer be in the photos after about 2012. Desmond Williams has a few more social media sites and posts that he's a part of, and it becomes very clear to you that he is an avid fan of what appears to be role-playing games.
Interesting. Taking a moment to park, I'll finally do a little bit of a cross-check, particularly on Desmond Williams. Any interesting hobbies in regard to role-playing games? Any online conversations, forum posts, disagreements? Again, I see merit in Agent Matthews' initial approach here to see if there are any enemies, or if he has ever delved into anything unusual like odd marketplace choices, that sort of thing.
He appears to be part of several gaming communities, specifically tabletop wargaming, some RPG communities, but for the most part, he seems to be an avid tabletop gamer with both miniatures and painting and printing them as well. And any of the arguments or disagreements that you see him a part of seem to be mostly with other fans, with disagreements about whether a particular character is as powerful as they are portrayed, etc. Usually just kind of surface level arguments. Nothing seems to be particularly stand out.
Interesting. I confess I don't see the attraction in such things. I don't mind the odd video game, but, well, I'm more a literature man, and again, the real world has some things that are quite interesting. But I am going to mention the others when I see them. I would love to see this young man's laptop. I wonder what sort of things he looks at on there. And with that, I will, if the others have arrived, give a little cheerful wave.
Sure enough, the three of you are there, and you can see not just the yellow police tape, but the large blue shipping container with the CDC logo kind of half blocking the home's view. But on the lawn, you can see several individuals in their white biohazard suits kind of discussing amongst each other, as well as two police officers that are guarding the front door.
Agent Michael heads to the group, badge in hand, and asks for Dr. Murakami.
As we head in to try and coordinate with Dr. Murakami, there is an air of hesitation for the first time in Marquez. She's a very excitable person when it comes to things that she is passionate about, and now talking to this expert who has such a high level and high ranking job, there's a bit of an affectation of intimidation, I think, about Marquez taking in this person who is doing a job that she would love to do. This is the first time, I think, that she's found a pretty even keel in the Bureau, and she's both excited to transcend it and eager to prove that she belongs. So they're just kind of taking notes and like looking at you, Agent Michael, as you kind of lead that discussion, chiming in here and there with her takes.
Agent Michael and team, as you approach, Dr. Murakami kind of turns from her colleagues, notices you, and says, "Oh, thank God the locals are here. Hello, sir. My name is Dr. Murakami. Nice to meet you. You are?"
Agent Billings with the FBI. I'm here with two specialists here. We are, concerned there might be a potential. We're trying to assess if there is a biohazard or a bioweapon or a chemical weapon or something right here on our doorstep. So we're here to assist.
Totally understandable. She kind of lets out a long sigh, a disappointed sigh, and she says, "We've done some air scans. We've done some scans for contaminants, radiation, virus. Nothing's come up. You have been briefed on the body and everything about it, or at least the way it looks?"
Petrified is what I was told.
That's a good word for it, yeah. It seems as if every ounce of moisture has been sapped out of the body, yes. Again, looking at the biohazard readings, I don't see anything. Nothing is ticking our boxes in terms of what might be wrong. It's kind of a strange situation, to be honest with you. The Officer Walters, and she gestures behind her shoulder, he's guarding the door, but he should be able to let you in. To be honest with you, and she starts kind of taking off these plastic gloves, we don't really know if there's anything here for us. We think we might start wrapping up and kind of hand it over to you guys.
What's the timeline of when the last time the victim was reported being healthy and then whatever happened?
That's a good question. You're going to probably want to speak to Officer Walters for more details, but as far as I understand, the mother who is in the home currently said that she found her son's body after a late night shift coming home in the living room, called 911 about 7:30. Paramedics came out. They thought it was a serious enough issue that they called us. We happened to be free, and so we came out.
Do we know who the last person who saw him alive was?
My assumption it's going to be either her or his brother, who I think is off to school.
When did she leave for work?
She said it was sometime in the evening. She has like a late night shift at the hospital.
So like at most 12 hours between him being alive and him being petrified.
That's a good guess, yes.
Okay.
When she came home and found her son in this state, what was he doing?
Well, as far as I can tell, he was in his pajamas, probably getting ready for his day. don't really see anything out of the ordinary. You can see for yourself, but there doesn't appear to be any signs of struggle or lesions on his body, besides the extreme, petrification.
And how old is the brother?
The younger one, I suspect he's maybe 9, 10.
So he would have been in bed. Okay. I think she writes this down and goes to kind of look around the house. The first place that Marquez heads is Desmond's room to look at what's going on in there.
Yeah. Agent Michael heads to talk to Officer Walters to get a timeline and victim statement, see if the mother's able to handle another interview.
Officer Walters is standing with another police officer kind of guarding the door. He sees you as you flash your badge, kind of steps to the side, introduces himself, and explains that you are welcome to enter. He does say, listen, that body, I'd really rather not look at it any more than I have to, so if you need me, I'll be out here. And Julia, the last time I checked on her, is in her bedroom if you want to speak to her.
I'm happy to initially let the other two do most of the talking here. After all, in situations like this, where we're not really supposed to be here, talking too much can be a little bit of a red flag. So I'll just smile, nod. I take a moment to check my gear. I'm bringing in my laptop, and I'm also bringing in a small little tool kit. Nothing too fancy. Miniature screwdriver, miniature lockpick, that sort of thing, just in case I need to do a little bit of tinkering. And I will then, as soon as Agent Marquez heads in and Agent Matthew does that initial chat, I just smile and nod my head very seriously and step in, follow behind Marquez, and yes, I'm keen to get into that bedroom as well.
Agent Michael, as the two step in, the officer gives you a rundown of what he understands. The mother, Angelia, left last night at 9 p.m. for her job at Massachusetts General. She was gone until about 7:15 when she returned home. She says the first thing she did was take a shower. At around 7:32, she went to go check on her son Desmond, walked into the living room, and found his desiccated corpse on the floor, in which she immediately called 911. The paramedics arrived shortly after. Seeing the state of the body and not really knowing what to do, the officer himself called for the CDC to come take a look. He says if you want more details about the son, he's currently unemployed. The younger son, Andrew Williams, is about 9, and he is going to school. And he learned in passing that the boy has blindness. He is blind or has some kind of visual impairment.
Okay. Were there any incident? Did anyone call the cops in this neighborhood last night at all for anything?
No signs or no calls, no incidents of a break-in, nothing out of the ordinary.
No loud noises, no, strange cars passing by or strange.
He looks kind of down the street, gesturing at the income bracket of this neighborhood, and says, "Look, there's always a call, but nothing that I think is related."
Okay. All right. So, and there's no signs of a forced entry or anything taken from the house?
Not that I can tell of. Not the front door or the back door. Any of the windows, everything looks closed up tight.
Okay. Thank you. So we have at least a rough timeline now. So, thank you. I'll go talk to the mother next.
The three of you walk into the home. Obviously, Agent Marquez and Moorgate a little bit sooner than others. You all recognize hanging on the walls photos of a family, like Agent Moorgate saw, Angelia, what appears to be a late husband, and 2 sons. Agent Michael, you are able to confirm as you look with your human intelligence, there appears to be a visual impairment that the younger son has, his eyes closed. The 3 of you are immediately stopped in the living room, which is kind of the dividing space in the house. To the right, it appears you can head towards the kitchen and what must be the master bedroom. and to the left is living room, and beyond that, 2 smaller rooms. But what immediately catches your attention is what is on the floor. In front of you, close to the couch, is a completely desiccated, dried husk of a younger man, dark-skinned, his age now being almost impossible to determine. But what stands out to you is the position of the body. It is not simply crumpled on the ground, it is frozen in abject terror, its hands up close to its face as if shielding itself from something, its legs somewhat curled in a kicking, fetal position, and seeing it is so disturbing, I'd ask that all 3 of you make sand checks.
I succeed.
I fail.
I succeed.
If you succeed, you'll take 0. If you fail, you'll lose 1.
Agent Marquez sees the look on this corpse's face, its hands curled, its feet curled, and recognizes the undeniable markers of terror. She approaches the body with a mixture of curiosity, but also trepidation, more out of respect than anything. And I think as she kind of crouches low, the first thing she does is check the eyes of this person. Are they open? Are they shut? And if they are shut, she tries to open them up a little bit. Also kind of inspects the mouth and the teeth, and then continues from there, kind of looking at the skin.
As Murakami explained, the body is in what appears to be simple pajamas. You step close to the face and you can see eyes wide open, the eyeballs themselves shriveled into small raisins, the mouth stretched back into not a grin, but a grimace of terror. On the left wrist of this body appears to be a Fitbit or some kind of body tracker of some kind.
Agent Marquez, her eyes light up as she sees this Fitbit, and she turns to Agent Moorgate. You're our tech specialist, right? You know about these things.
There is a brief pause as I, whilst doing my best to remain composed, clearly to those watching, turned away for a moment from the body. There is an awful lot of unpleasant stuff on the internet these days, and I have had to traverse the dark web for more than one of previous obligation-based investigations, but there is always something about seeing it face to face, especially the smell and the look, the utter terror on this poor young man's face. I find myself thinking of my own brother just for a moment, and there is a pause. But then I do kind of snap back to it and focus on, not the body, but as Agent Marcus says, the Fitbit. Oh yes. Yes, I should be able to have a little look at this. Forgive me, I had quite a... something.
I'm sorry. She reaches into her briefcase and pulls out a small jar. And inside is like a thick paste that smells very herbaceous, and she hands it to you. In case there's any issue, I understand that not everyone is used to the things I'm used to.
Thank you, Marquez. No, I'll work I'll work over here, and I'll take this Fitbit and...
Agent Moorgate, as you approach the body, you have to get within arm's reach, and your foot steps on the carpeted floor of the space. Immediately you recognize the feeling of a soaked carpet. You can see now that all around the body, as if someone has spilt a bucket of water into the carpet. Looking to the couch, even the couch's leg is soaked. And even under this small glass table by the couch, there is condensation underneath it.
As I notice this, I will almost reach out to touch the damp with a gloved hand. I am not a complete unprofessional, I've come with gloves. But then I stop, I look at Marquez, and I say, Marquez, look at this, it's very interesting.
Oh, Oh, my word. Marquez crouches down and takes some items out of their briefcase. They definitely would have brought just very simple tests that can show you what a liquid is, if it's like an organic liquid, if it has blood in it, if it has urea in it, etc. And I think that they would take a couple of samples, one from the sofa that has the dripping from it, a little bit of the condensation on the glass surfaces, and then definitely from right underneath the body.
So Agent Michael doesn't say anything while the two have a conversation. He scans the room to see if anybody else is in the... or are there any other officers or anything else in the living room around the body?
There's maybe a single paramedic that is kind of wrapping up and they're on their way stepping out.
I just, make a meaningful glance at my other two agents and at the paramedic to remind them, loose lips and all that. So be aware of that. And then Agent Michael walks to find the mother. No, doesn't say anything. Tight lip, poker face.
Taking your time, you scan the home and realize where it most likely is, heading through the kitchen. With your high human intelligence and alertness, you do notice offhandedly something on refrigerator.
Show and tell. Dear parents, this Friday, please assist your child in bringing a small item from home they would like to share with the class. With love, Miss Higgins.
As you pass through the kitchen, you do find the master bedroom, and there, sitting at the edge of the bed, is Angelia Williams, older woman, maybe in her late 40s, early 50s, dark-skinned. Sort of, you've seen this before, in a state of shock.
So Agent Michael opens the door and says, Miss Williams, I'm Agent Billings with the FBI, and I would like to ask you some questions, if that's possible. In a very gentle, practice way.
I think Agent Marquez kind of lingers in the doorway of seeing this conversation. She would have moved, I think, to give Agent Moorgate some time to focus on the Fitbit. Short of being able to cut this person open, which she's not going to do in the home, there's really not a lot more that she feels she can do without potentially causing someone to feel like she's desecrating the body.
Agent Marquez, you take out the sampling that you wanted to do of the liquid, and it does appear to have the typical biometric or biological examples of fluids you would find in the body.
I think she moves herself back over to where Agent Moorgate is and shares that information. These fluids I collected, she kind of looks around to make sure that she's being quiet enough and no one else is eavesdropping. I don't know how to tell the mother this, but it's like he was squeezed. Like a lemon. All of that condensation, that liquid, it's his own juice, so to speak.
Funnily enough, that was something that came to mind. Again, I'm no expert biologist, but I majored in physics, actually, but I do know a bit of science. I take a moment then to look over at the Fitbit. I did, just a moment ago, request Marquez actually remove the Fitbit from the arm, because I didn't want to disturb the body anyway. But now we've successfully, hopefully anyway, got it off. Yes, I do a cursory look. Does it initially anything look suspicious or strange about this Fitbit device?
After about 10 minutes of figuring out how to access the information that is technically not yours, you are able to find the heart rate monitor function on the Fitbit. And following to the last 24 hours, you can see that around 6:05 a.m. this morning, Desmond's heart rate shot up to a dangerous level and then dropped to a absolute zero and did not rise again.
6:05, and how quickly did this happen? In seconds, minutes?
Quick enough that the Fitbit was not able to truly register it with complete accuracy. So after about a minute or two of recycling, it was able to tell that his heart rate was now at 0.
So Agent Michael, the first thing he does want to ask the mother is, can you call the school and have them take your other son out of the classroom? We don't know what happened to Desmond, and we need to make sure that your other son is physically fine, and to make sure that they haven't taken anything from the scene. An abundance of caution.
I'll need you to persuade her or convince her to answer your question.
Sure. Hey, 30. Yeah, I succeed on that roll.
You mention her younger son, you mention his school, and she does kind of snap out of it. Oh my God, Andrew. Oh my God, he doesn't know. And she just kind of relives her grief, knowing that she now has to inform her son. She looks up at you. Who are you?
I'm with the FBI. You need to call your school, Andrew's school, now and have him taken up to the principal's office. We need to go there and make sure that Andrew is okay, that whatever happened to Desmond doesn't happen to Andrew. And I saw a show and tell thing on the refrigerator. Andrew could have taken something that might be important for our investigation.
With trembling hands, she pulls out her phone and begins the process of dialing the school.
Agent Michaels is just still stone face, not even thinking about the mother, just suffering, just like, we gotta make sure that kid doesn't have anything bad. What if, yeah. So I'm gonna call while she's doing that. What's the name of the school?
She looks up at you. It's the Perkins School for the Blind.
Okay. I'm going to, while you're calling the school, I'm going to send some local officers to, get Andrew and bring him here. So I'm going to go out and, so I'll be right back. But get Andrew out of the classroom.
Do you think Andrew's in trouble?
No, well, we just have to check. I think with an incident like this, we have to cover all our bases.
I quickly show my findings to Marquez. Marquez, look at this, 605. You might have your time of death here, but it seems as if this poor young man was dead almost in under a minute.
That is quite unusual, but 605, that is the time of death, okay, and she writes it down. But also, do you think the little one would have seen? That's around the time that I used to wake up to go to school. I'd wake up at 6, I'd take a shower, I'd get dressed, I would go meet my bus around 7, get to school by 7:30, 8 o'clock. That's the time people get ready for their day.
Agent Michael walks in while you're having this conversation. The kid doesn't see anything. Goes to the school for the blind. I just walk out to the front lawn.
And on that note, I say, yes, in fact, it's quite possible, grim as it may sound, that the poor young boy, he could have walked straight through here and seen nothing.
That's true, but the amount of terror, the amount of pain on this cadaver, it's palpable even in the silence of death. Surely that little one might have heard something.
Indeed, that's a question as well. What sounds did this poor young man make to have such a look of terror on his face? The Fitbit doesn't seem itself, though, to be an issue. I'm just going to see if I can check the boy's room. And with that, I will nod to Marquez and attempt to investigate the boy's room, particularly any electronic devices within.
Moorgate, you step into the next section of the home where you know the two kind of smaller rooms are. The door is open to one of them, and it seems obvious that it is Desmond's room. As you step in, it is cramped. There is a singular bed, and on every wall there are bookshelves littered with tabletop books, and as well as tables littered with miniatures. of different sizes, of different levels of complexity, some of them painted, some of them seemingly already painted from the print itself, and posters hanging on the wall of different games, photos of Desmond at tournaments, etc. And you notice, as the computer expert here, a single desk with a computer and what appears to be a very advanced-looking 3D printer.
Interesting. Do I think I have time to sit here and look at his computer, or would it be more prudent to take the computer away as evidence and look in the car?
It appears to be a desktop computer.
Probably better to sit here for a moment. In that case, I'll adjust my gloves, sit down, consider the 3D printer for a moment. I'm assuming it's currently empty, or is there something pre-made or half being made?
You look at it, and it does appear to be very advanced. One of those advanced printers that can both print in high detail and full color. And there appears to be the broken framework, the plastic framework that usually holds a miniature in place as it's printed, and most of it has been snapped off and is now sitting empty, as if something was torn out of it.
I find that quite interesting. I think I'll find out more on the computer. I'll crack my knuckles and get ready. I'm not expecting the most advanced firewalls in the world on this poor young man's computer, but you never know.
Agent Marquez heads to Andrew's room. She wants to see if this room shows any signs of a child who has been disturbed in some way. Was there a hurry, a mess left behind when getting ready this morning? Anything unusual in here that seems out of place?
You step into the room. It is clearly the room of a young boy. And the thing that stands out the most is the admiration this young man must have had or must have for his older brother. There are framed photos on his dresser of Desmond running games for Andrew and his friends, miniatures and maps that he has borrowed or been given from his brother, and a few other things, but it's a tidy room. Looks like pajamas are strewn on the floor, but otherwise nothing really stands out.
I touch the bottoms of the pajamas. Do they feel damp?
They do not.
Okay. I think Marquez comes back out of the room, and kind of peeks her head in on Agent Moorgate. I checked the brother's room. Nothing really seems out of order. It's really a shame what's happened here. He's going to probably not be okay for a long time with this loss. Do you think Agent Michael would want to question him for us? This is a place where we're going to have to tread very lightly.
If I could, it'd be wonderful to not involve the boy at all, but unfortunately, as you said, he could have information, so maybe Agent Michael is best suited for that. This is... I look around the room. Quite a horrible little mess. This boy had some skill in his craft. I appreciate that.
I think with a very quiet nod, Agent Marquez comes and rounds the corner out the front door to pull Agent Michael aside and gives you a brief of what's just gone on inside, the findings of the liquids, what Agent Moorgate has found, as well as asking your favor if you would lead the discussion with the kid and to specifically ask what he heard upon waking around 6 a.m., 6:05.
So while the other two agents have been investigating all of that, Michael's priority was getting that kid out of the class like ASAP, because for whatever caused this, he was at the home at the time when it happened, so he could be infected, or if it is infected, he could be contagious if it is contagious. He also, the show and tell thing is very scary because who knows what he took, and so go on the front lawn, look for a local PD, tell them to go to the Perkins School of the Blind now and pick up the kid. The mother should have called to take him out of the classroom and all of his possessions. And so 100% focus on that.
As you and Marquez are speaking about this, Angelia comes out of the bedroom. She is throwing on a cover, grabbing her purse, and she says, I spoke to the principal. They're pulling out Andrew now. I'm going to go pick him up, at least be with him for now. I want to make sure that he's okay.
Miss Williams, that's okay. We have local police officers. They'll be there first, and they'll come back. Of course, if you... because we need to keep this, whatever happened, contained as much as possible. Information that Andrew has could be very important. So yeah, I'll take her, sort of guide her back to the bedroom.
Wait! I want to be with my son.
They're bringing him here.
Oh,
so
okay.
So
thank you. I'm sorry. I'm so distraught.
No, it's perfectly understandable. Does Andrew usually wake up and get himself to school? I assume a bus picks him up or something?
He's a very independent boy, even with his disability. Yes, he usually is up around 6. The bus picks him up around 6:37, and yeah, it's about an hour ride to school.
Okay. It's so. So I'll start talking to her and start what is the regular routine of what was Desmond up to recently, just establishing what normal is for this household, and if anything had changed in the last couple of days. Just background information, just trying to calm her down by talking about routine and that kind of thing. Yeah.
The bigger picture you're able to paint is that Andrew does dress himself, get ready for school, and head off to the school early in the morning. Desmond is still living at home, going to school part-time, and she does mention that Desmond, being an avid fan of tabletop games, war games, often would share this passion with his younger brother, and she does recall something about Andrew's show and tell and pestering his older brother to please print a miniature for him.
Okay.
Agent Moorgate, you are in front of the computer, and what you immediately recognize is that there is a program that is specifically for printing STL. These are what are used to print miniatures. And the program itself displays the layers of whatever needs to be printed. And there are about 4 layers, each of them showing some kind of hideous, amorphous, tentacled monstrosity of some kind. You actually, as you look at it, this involuntary wave of nausea kind of rolls over you and quickly dissipates. But you can see that the program, the file is named Yadith_go.stl.
I almost find myself saying those words aloud, but I don't. But it entones itself in my mind, and as you say, I feel this strange, nauseous feeling. It's almost unpleasant to look at this image. It seems, looking around me at this young man's room, extremely odd that this young man would... Did he create this on his own, or did he get this design from somewhere else? I briefly overhear some of the conversation happening outside, and I do, again, just to clear the air for a moment, turning off that screen for the moment, step outside and just summon over Marquez and Michael and say, if a young lad is coming here shortly, is it time for the body to be taken elsewhere? Perhaps into the vans outside?
Well, we have the mobile autopsy. We should take it in there.
I'd like to take a closer look.
Yes, perhaps we should do that before the young man arrives back home. And with that, I go back to the computer and I will follow up with when was the last time the printer was used. I have a hunch. Perhaps looking at it, it could have been used almost maybe today. But also, the source of this image file. Was this sourced from somewhere? Is there evidence it was sourced from somewhere? Or did he actually... Is this created by the young man?
You return, you sit down, and you can tell from the records of the application being used that overnight something was being printed, and you can confirm that it is this STL file, Yadith_go, that was printed overnight. And as you take a moment to think about all of this, you happen to notice that there is a poster above the computer.
Yes, seems to be an advertisement for a role-playing game, possibly also a download. Out of the Aeons, a role-playing game you'll go crazy for. Available at local game stores July 30th. Download and print custom minis from https://outaeons.com/stl. But yes, that's a website address. I will be checking that out.
Agent Marquez steers the handlers, like the helpers that we have available for us as they're moving this body. I think she immediately puts the paste that she offered to Agent Moorgate under her nose, anticipating having to cut him open, and lays her tools out ahead of her. She is able to keep her cool in front of the assistants and aides, but the moment that they have vacated and the doors are shut, she kind of loosens up and does some stretches and greets this corpse with a bit of a grim smile. And I think she kind of starts her tape recorder and tries to lay him out as best as she can. There's a little bit of massaging that she tries to do, like on the thighs and the knee, to see if she can get the muscles to uncontract, but recognizing there isn't a whole lot of liquid in there, it's very difficult to try and pull him back into shape. So she goes in through the side of his abdomen.
You begin cutting the process. It is like cutting through 10-year-old jerky. It is incredibly dry and brittle. However, once you cut inside the body, you are greeted with dehydrated organs, but they are not as dry as the outside. In fact, they are still a little wet, a little moist, almost warm to the touch.
I think she takes a step back and tries to give herself a moment. Warmth was not something that she thought that she would be met with. It's only been 5 hours that this body has been dead, but that's usually enough time for a person to be cold. I think she kind of looks at the body for a second and leans into the ear. This is ridiculous, but if you are still in there, show me some kind of sign. Is there something you can move? Do you feel pain when I'm doing this? And she touches the organs again to see if there's any kind of reaction from this corpse.
Give me an intelligence ×5 roll.
Okay. Yes, I think that's a success.
You whisper into the desiccated ear of this body, and there is no reaction. And then you remember there are other ways to tell if someone is alive, using the technology around you.
She goes to the encephalograph and kind of looks at it and pauses for a moment, talking to herself. This is unprecedented and, I dare say, a little crazy of me, but I'm going to be affixing this encephalograph to this unfortunate young man to see if there's anything happening inside. I can't imagine that there is, but the entrails are warm. Too warm for 5 hours after death. 5 hours post-mortem, still warm. This doesn't make any sense.
You apply the accoutrement, including a heart monitor, that though slight, there is brain activity. And just as it is dawning on you, you see a single boom boom heartbeat. I'd like you to make a sand check, please.
Shit. That's a success.
Roll a d4.
Okay. 3. At first, Marquez is excited. This is a new and interesting discovery, and that's all she wants. Like, that's why she does this. She's been laboring for an incredible investigation, a breakthrough, all this time, but also she has a boy cut open on her table that is not dead. She can't communicate with him. And I think in this moment, she is questioning what to do with this information and starts to work up, like, how to approach her fellow agents with this discovery. I think she stitches up the side as this is going through her mind to try and be respectful, apologizes, and then backs away without taking her eyes off of the cadaver, out of the shipping container, and closes and locks the doors before approaching her other agents.
Agent Moorgate, you have followed the website, the URL at least, to what appears to be the homepage of this game out of the Aeons. And it appears to have a very active message board dedicated to the game. You can see that there are several categories for printing STLs, discussions on the quality of the miniatures, etc. It's going to take a couple minutes, though. However, under the Not Safe for Work category, you find a post by a user named Volcano Lord 12. In this post, Volcano Lord 12 touts to have created the most realistic version of a demon god he calls Gatanathoa. There is a disclaimer at the bottom of the post that reads, "You can find Gatanathoa's stats by referring to the player's handbook for Out of the Aeons."
Interesting. A quick cross-reference then. What about this Yadago individual?
You find many discussions that it is an element of the lore of the game, as if it is a place or a state of some kind. Again, of a fantasy world where monsters and heroes are battling for the state of the world.
Interesting. Is that perhaps a collection then of models from the world? Again, I'll, out of curiosity, follow that previous link. This artist talking about his super authentic model.
It leads to a main page where for $1 you can download the STL that he swears is the most accurate representation of the demon god.
Well, I'm certainly not going to charge a poor young deceased man and his family $1 for nonsense. So, again, quickly downloading a few... Actually taking out a little USB that I carry for these sort of occasions, inserting some of my own homemade programs in. Let's bypass the money and get straight to the information.
You can tell on the website that it appears Desmond already purchased the STL, as the buy now button is shaded, and the STL is on the desktop. In fact, opened on the application to print the STL.
Again, I'll access the file itself. Is there more on this file than just one model? Is this a sort of zip file, if it were containing several model schematics? Or anything else, in fact, for that matter?
It appears to have only one STL.
What are the comments on other users who've used this particular model? When was it even uploaded? By the Volcano Lord 12, or whatever his silly name was.
It appears to have been uploaded about a month ago. There are no comments, but 5 stars.
Well, some people are appreciative. Let's check out this user. I'm guessing I don't get much information just clicking on his name on this website. Maybe I can follow his IP.
It appears as if he does not have any other posts on the website except this one. Following his IP address will require a computer science roll.
That is a pass. Just.
With a pass following the IP address, it appears as if it leads somewhere in Ontario, Canada.
Out of interest, when I go back, is there anything else on the, is there in that file an image of how the finished product actually looks?
You can see in the STL application, it is broken up into 4 different images.
In short, you'd only really see the final product when it was assembled.
Agent Michael, when you finish your phone call with the local police to pick up Andrew and deliver him to you, let's say that you told them to check in with you once you found the boy. You arrived at the home around a little bit before 10:30 a.m. It's now about 11:20 a.m. and no word yet from the local police.
Okay. I am going to ask the officer on the scene if there's been what officers were sent to the Perkins School for the Blind, and have they reported in? They haven't contacted me.
Officer Walters checks his watch and he says, "That's strange. Yeah, they should have called in by now." And he picks up his cell phone. He calls. No answer. He looks at you. I don't know. They're not picking up.
Have there been any calls to the school? Can you see if there have been any 911 calls in the vicinity?
Yeah, it's going to take a minute, but let me check on that. And he gets back on his phone.
Okay, while he does that, I'm gonna go to the other agents. We need to be ready to move out in a second. It seems we weren't quite, there might be an incident at the school. Let's not tell them, mother yet. She would be more of a liability, I think.
I think the other 2 agents see Marquez backing out slowly of that container. And when they turn around, their face looks fairly normal. They're not pale or anything like that. But there is a shake to her hands. And I think she takes unsteady steps toward you. And every couple of steps, you see a pause of them being in thought before stepping again. And when she finally gets over to you, "Hi, we're going to need to speak somewhere very privately right now."
Okay, we'll get in the car.
The second the door closes, that boy is alive.
Let me ask Michael to make sanity checks.
Yeah, that's fair. I fail.
Roll a d4.
All right, that is 1. Heart picks up, knuckles tighten around the steering wheel, and just, someone's going to pay for this. So you're saying, officially, the boy has to be dead, and we have to get rid of that. You understand that, right? Media or anything like that. We have to lock this down. We have to suppress this. And I don't think that boy wants to be alive. If he looks the way he does, I can't imagine we'd be doing anything but giving him mercy.
I don't disagree with that last fact. He can't communicate. I had to use other measures to understand that he was still living. This is an incredible finding, and I'm just realizing now part of the job. It's a finding only we know about. It's not anything that's going in any books. That makes it a bit better, I think.
Yeah, the practical knowledge of this would only be used against more people. So, if it were to become known that this is something that you could do. So, we're going to make sure no one can do this again. But we're going to have to roll out to the school. The cops aren't responding to their phones. So,
at that moment, there is a surprising rap at the glass of your door, of your car. It is Officer Walters, who he's got his cell phone, and he says, "No calls, but they still won't answer their cell phone. But there's been no 911 calls from the school."
Okay, we're gonna go roll out ourselves to respond, and I'll. Hopefully, it's just a miscommunication. But we'll go. You stay on the scene. You need to make sure the mother doesn't know about this and keep her in the bedroom. Try and keep her calm. We don't need her to go into hysterics.
I think very soon I will be joining the other two as I get a sense that I probably need to report my findings sooner rather than later. But I want to finish up here. I want to do a few things. I want to see the image. And for a moment, I almost simply press the button I know will show it to me, as you said, compiling those 4 layers into one. And then there's just a certain hesitation. My hand stops. I'm not entirely sure why. And then I just fiddle with those settings. I don't want a 100% image. Maybe only an 80% perfect merging of those 4 with a little bit of pixelation or error. Let's see how that looks.
Using the programs available on the computer, you combine the layers, making sure to remove that last 20%. It is horrible, monstrous creature of some kind with tentacles and multiple orifices. It's almost verging on pornographic. That same wave of nausea kind of runs over you. And that's it.
I wonder what would happen if I cleared up the 20%. No, we don't have time for that. I'm going to download all this onto a spare USB, and I'm then going to delete it from the computer. I'm going to quickly run a very simple DDoS attack on the website. It needs to be taken down. It needs to be destroyed. I don't have time right now to go over the details. For now, this source, whatever this thing is, needs to be no longer here. At least on this website. I, of course, can't do anything about other copies that could be elsewhere.
You are skilled enough to pull that off without issue, the website no longer answering when you enter it into the URL address bar.
Looking around the computer and then around the room itself, did the young boy have this handbook somewhere?
You see right at his bedside table is a book that says Out of the Aeons, with depictions of heroes and monsters fighting on the cover.
I grab it, I walk out, and I flick the pages to look for this entry. This seems almost nonsense, but curiosity, I suppose.
The moment he gets in the car, I update him on my findings.
I listen very carefully. I observe Agent Michael's possible reaction, and I simply sigh, saying, "That is a complication that I do not believe we can do anything about other than as, well, the body needs to be removed."
Body needs to be removed. And we're heading to the school, so I'll drive this time. And agents, do we have a working theory on what causes petrification?
I don't think it's petrification. Petrification would have been through and through.
Well, whatever you call it, whatever you call this event, how did it affect, how did it target Desmond? How was he afflicted by it?
How familiar is everybody with... I know this may seem nonsensical. Internet horror stories, creepypastas, forbidden links, videos you watch and they'll make you do things or harm you or chain letters, all that sort of nonsense.
Fairly.
I found a bit of a strange rabbit hole this poor young man was going down, involving the downloading of this information, a model reportedly to perfectly replicate a hideous, horrific image. Now, perhaps you two would have seen differently, but even looking at such a thing caused me to be rather... It elicited a reaction, and that was at an image not even complete. The young boy, I believe, made a model of this image. He made it last night. It is not entirely out of the realms of possibility that images, objects, can cause reactions, stimulus. again, I'm sure, Agent Marquez, you'd be able to put it better. It's a bit of a hunch, but it could be possible that the young man made a model of something that caused this reaction. How, Agent Michael? I have no idea how an object could do that, but maybe it did.
You feel a hand grab you tight, and Marquez turns to you. The police aren't answering their phones. And I heard you say, Michael, you found a flyer on the refrigerator?
Yes, show and tell.
We need to be very careful.
Agent Michael, as he's driving, takes out a pair of sunglasses from his jacket. I'm going to smear these and wear them as maybe that, and try and be very careful of where I look. I don't know. We have to act on speed. We already have possibly multiple casualties. This is spiraling out of control very fast. So one of you should call the handler and inform him, and we need to get that object and destroy it as soon as possible, and see what we see.
Marquez immediately pulls out her cell phone and starts dialing, gives a full report, explains that there could be a potential large-scale event both here and then other places.
Your case officer, Agent Clark, says, "Fuck. Well, whatever it is, if it's something that is movable, get it to a green box. We'll figure out how to handle it later."
If you can detect wherever Agent Moorgate has been, I believe he can send you some kind of indicator of the IP address of this person. This is a website that more than a few people have had access to, and who knows for how long. So maybe alert all of the other cells as well, just to make sure we've got good coverage.
Great. Yeah, I'll get on that. Call me when you have an update.
Thank you, sir.
And as the other two are driving, I again leaf to that entry in this children's games book.
The drive is excruciatingly long. It's probably a good 30 to 45 minutes to get to the Perkins School in Watertown. However, it does afford you, Agent Moorgate, enough time to leaf through this book and find a passage.
Yes, certainly quite a comprehensive piece. I skim, again, we need core information. One thing stands out. For no living thing could behold Gaffona, or even a perfect graven image of it, however small, without suffering a change more horrible than death itself. Sight of the god means paralysis and petrification, in which the victim was turned to stone and leather on the outside, while the brain within remains perpetually alive, horribly fixed and imprisoned through the ages. I continue reading the rest to myself. It's largely about the mythos of this god creature, and I almost laugh in the car, and I say, "You may find this utterly hilarious and ridiculous. According to this game lore, the creature is involved in, well, it petrifies and it imprisons the victim in a living death."
That's horrible.
So it's describing what's actually happened.
Yes. Sight. We might not be able to look at the object. Any ideas, Marquez, on how we can handle an object we can't look at?
I think Michael's has at least a bit of an edge here. And she takes out a jar of, petroleum and smears everyone's glasses with it. I think that this will at least give us a little bit of protection. However, I recall the ancient Greek text that I've read long ago when dealing with what is essentially sounding like a gorgon. You would need to look into metallic objects. Things that are shiny, instead of looking directly at it. Both of those things might help us. The thing that's also on our side is that this is a school for the blind, so the children should be okay. The adults, however...
We'll see. Ugh, God. Michael opens up the window and starts smoking as he drives.
The rain is now heavier than ever, pouring down as you pull up to the Perkins School for the Blind. As you park, you can see that there are two-story buildings. One with the label A, one with the label B, and a large kind of central courtyard. Due to the rain, there does not appear to be very much activity.
Are there police cars in the parking lot?
You do see 2 police cars parked in the parking lot.
I call Officer Walters and you tell them, two police cars here. These are the numbers. No one's here. Do I see any people moving in or out of the building, or like any like motion from the windows or anything like that, or is it all still?
As you look, you can see in the B building there are windows, and it does appear as if class is in session. The occasional movement of smaller bodies, maybe the occasional teacher silhouetted. Building A on the second floor also seems to have classrooms, but the bottom level seems to be the administrative wing.
Let me see if I can get us a little bit of information before we go in. I look down at my computer. I'm going to see, again, might be a long shot. Number 1, can I access the school's Wi-Fi connection? And of course, by access I mean break into. And then number 2, do they maybe have a security system tied to the main school network? They might not, it might be separate, but I'll give it a go and see.
You are able to, easy enough, break into the Wi-Fi, access it. Make a luck roll as to whether the security system is also attached.
A failure.
Doesn't seem to be connected. It's a little bit of an older building.
An older type of model. Sorry, no webcam access outside, at least.
Agent Marquez looks on the ground to see if there are any footprints. It's raining, so it stands to reason that there might be some footprints from the police officers walking to either one of these buildings.
I think due to the heavy rain, any footprints that may have been there have since been washed away.
Okay.
But the police cars are parked closer to the A building.
That's the direction I think that she starts to head, kind of automatically. There are a lot of feelings kind of swirling in her. This is the first time something has turned out to actually be supernatural. And I think she's had a lot of experience on the job, but nothing like this. And they're moving, not dreamily, but very matter-of-factly, like they are, like they're a robot, very robotic.
Marquez, hold on. We should think about how we're going to approach this for a second. So we smeared our glasses, right? But maybe one person goes in at a time and sort of verbally tells the others who are out of sight what they're encountering. So if one of us finds the landmine, it won't affect the other two.
Yes. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Well, I'll go first. So unless you want to volunteer, but you've seen it. You've seen what it does. I'll go first. So Michael's lets the cigarette get extinguished by the rain, throws it away, remembering he was still smoking it, and then puts on petroleum jelly smeared sunglasses and sort of walks in head pointing down and looking at his feet more than anything else, just not caring how he looks, and sort of walks in and says, "Hello, is anyone here?"
I follow closely behind, but I do think to myself, something I could do. I take out my mobile phone, I go to the camera feature, and I just turn on one of those stupid little filters that, just add something onto an image. And maybe this won't help at all, but maybe this will count as an imperfect image, and I'll attempt to use that to sort of look in my blind spots as I follow behind Agent Michael.
The three of you step into what is apparently the administrative room. They're looking down, not being able to see a lot of detail. You can see that you're in a kind of office environment, and you can see in your periphery that there is a kind of front desk. No one greets you. It is eerily quiet in the room.
Agent Moorgate, can you go to the front desk computer and see what classroom Andrew Williams is in, or supposed to be in?
Yes, I take a moment to look around, saying to myself, this is a very bad sign. How many of there should be staff here? Never mind. And I quickly begin to look.
You make the turn around the desk and are shocked to find a shriveled, desiccated corpse in a sundress.
I take a step back. Must have passed through here, if our theory is correct. Did no one notice?
Oh,
Sorry.
You sit down at the computer desk, and as you look up Andrew's name, you are able to see the classroom he is in. The classroom is typically in Building B on the second floor.
Did that kid just carry it in his hands as he walked in? So every adult he passed by.
Show and tell day.
Well, it's a nice new thing, right? He's not going to put it in his backpack.
And his
Gonna show
brother
it
made
off.
it.
Yes,
And they know how
very
much his
proud.
brother means to him. It's in B, you said?
Yes.
All right, let's single file. I'll lead the way. I look at a map. There's got to be like fire escape maps on the. I look at the fire escape map on the wall, and sort of memorize the route so that I can come back, without having to look around too much. And just
Marquez is petite, about 5'1", and people make jokes at her expense a lot about how small she is. She's like a child. And in this moment, it kind of dawns on her, this is a school for blind kids. So she closes her eyes, and she places her hands against the wall and kind of runs her hands over the wall to see if there's any braille there or any kind of indication of where she is, knowing that this is going to take people of all abilities and all ages.
As you step outside and begin making your way, staying out of the rain towards the B building, there is a connecting bridge, underpass. And sure enough, Agent Marquez, running your fingers along the wall, every time you come up against the door, you do find a Braille-labeled sign.
I think that's... she basically decides to pull up the rear, and as they move through, tries to kind of verbally say what she's feeling, holding on to the back of Moorgate's blazer.
You make it into the B building, and as you are crossing towards the stairs to get up to the second floor, there is another body. A man that appears to be the janitor, mop still frozen in his emaciated hands, collapsed on the floor.
Call me crazy. Is it possible that in the manner of death you don't make any noise because two people screaming for their lives would have caused a scene by this point, no?
I
think the kid would have heard it, the little brother would have heard it if his older brother screamed. So yeah, I think we can assume it's silent. All right, up the stairs we go.
You make it to the top of the stairs, turning, knowing that just down the hall is the classroom where young Andrew is supposed to be. And there you see, in the middle of the hall, a young boy, matching Andrew's description, wearing a backpack, his back to you, slowly walking towards his classroom.
Andrew Williams? I look down at the floor. I'm making sure I'm not looking at him.
The person seems to stop. Hello, yes?
Andrew Williams, my name is, Michael. I'm here to, help.
Are you one of the police officers?
Yeah, I'm here to... Yes. Your show and tell object that you brought, where is it? Don't show me. Just tell me.
You hear footsteps walking towards you. I have it here with me.
Okay, I need you to put it in your backpack. Do not show it to me.
Okay. You hear a kind of ruffling as he seems to be messing with his backpack.
Hand me the backpack. I hold my arm out, just eyes looking down, and
in your periphery is a child's backpack with some kind of superhero on it, the zipper still open.
Okay. If I feel the zipper open, I'm gonna, without looking at it, zip it closed. Do I feel through the backpack's fabric, can I feel an object in there?
Feels like there's a couple of things, but yeah, there's something oddly shaped inside, yes.
All right, I'll look up at Andrew. Okay, Andrew, we're going to take you home now, okay?
Okay, is everything okay?
You're okay. It's okay.
I'm not in trouble.
To see your mom. No, you're not in trouble. You're fine.
I don't say anything, but I do then just step forward past Andrew and the others, and I just head to the classroom. Do I see any other children?
There are children in the classroom.
I say to the classroom, "Hi, children. Any idea where any of your teachers are? It seems strange they've left you unattended." I try and keep the mood light.
The children sitting in their chairs kind of look in the direction of the door, all of them seemingly with some kind of visual impairment. And they say, "Mrs. Higgins, we think she walked out the room. She was quiet. And then the police came to get Andrew." And you notice there's a foot, a shoe, hanging outside behind the desk where the teacher's desk is.
I poke my head around briefly.
And you find another mummy.
I don't suppose she was in the middle of show and tell? Is that what everyone's doing here today?
Yes!
Oh, good. I'll tell you what, you all be very good and just sit here and... It might be a bit boring. Talk amongst yourselves. Don't worry. I'm sure everything will get back to normal very soon. I'm going to have a word with the teachers, and I'm sure Miss Higgins will be back in a moment. I kind of visually portray quite obviously on my face that won't be the case, but I suppose they don't see it. Maybe that's for the best.
Agent Marquez, we need a cover story for what happened to these people, and we need it fast. It's something improbable, but because now we have 1, 2, 3. How many police officers were sent? 2?
At least 2.
So
1 dead secretary, dead janitor, dead teacher.
So 5 victims plus the one at the house at a minimum.
Surely we let the handler know this has got a little bit out of our... They can't expect all 3 of just the 3 of us to cover this many bodies. Plus, surely some other staff could be here any moment. God knows where the rest of them are in the building.
Well, the cover story is simple for the school. Gas leak in the basement. People kept looking for each other. One of those cases of just a non-compliance with local laws and curiosity on behalf of the staff.
That's actually quite a good idea, and let's just add fuel to the fire. I take out my little screwdriver. I'll be back in a second. I'm going to go make a little gas leak.
Okay. I'm going to escort the child out to our car, then call Officer Walters and say we need multiple casualties. I think there's a gas leak. Yeah, I'll start spreading this right. I think there's a gas leak here. The school needs to be evacuated. We need social workers. We need buses. We need the whole thing.
While you're on the phone, Michael, you're going down the stairs with the boy, Marquez, with you. You hear at the bottom of the staircase, "Holy shit!" can see there appears to be the security guard for the building staring at the mummified corpse of the janitor. And he immediately looks up to notice the two of you with the boy.
I'm Agent Billings with the FBI. This is an ongoing investigation. Do you have security cameras in the school, sir?
Yes, but what the hell is going on? And he gestures at the body.
We're not at liberty to discuss this. We need to. Anything you see here, you should not repeat to the public. This is an ongoing investigation. Do you understand this, sir?
What? Let me see your badge.
I show him my badge. I walk up, just stare him hard in the face. You're in shock, sir. Agent Marquez, can you take the child to the car? I need to review the security footage.
Wait. I can't let you take that kid. We need to talk to somebody.
I am the somebody to talk to, sir.
Marquez looks at Agent Michael and says, Agent Michael, I understand that we really need to make sure that we are making haste here. Perhaps there's something in the bag that can help us.
I just shake my head. No.
What's in the bag?
Sir, it's evidence in an ongoing investigation. I need to look at your security footage. If you could show me the security office quickly.
Make a quick persuasion roll.
Okay. I succeed.
Okay. And he starts gesturing for you to follow him as he starts walking away.
All right. As he's walking away, I just whisper to Marquez, I'm deleting the security footage. Just make sure the kid doesn't talk to anybody.
Of course.
Having heard the other two go down the stairs and heard that conversation, I quickly run in my mind, the gas leak shouldn't be in the basement, because the bodies aren't in the basement, but near this area, and just in case we run into more issues, I think the gas leak has to happen somewhere much closer by. I'm going to see if I can find an empty classroom where I am, and go in there, and yes, do my best to fiddle with the radiator in the room, or the gas connection to the room. It's a little crude, but at the end of the day, the whole point is that no one will be asking any questions, looking too closely. We just need the initial credible evidence.
Go ahead and make a roll for me.
Oh, don't have any demolition. What about craft mechanic?
I think I'll settle for that, sure.
Okay. Just failure. I guess perhaps I'm a little too clumsy in my attempt.
The school bell rings, and the children begin filing out of the rooms. And then shortly after that, there is an explosion on the second floor.
Agent Michael takes the security guard, like, okay, we need to evacuate the building now. And, the building's on fire now. The building's exploded. That getting rid of the security cam footage is, like, a priority, but Moorgate's gonna have to do that later. I just run out of the building. Like, the building's exploding, man. I don't know what else to do. Yeah.
He is completely flabbergasted by the explosion, and he goes in one direction as you go in another.
Okay. If I'm alone in the security office, though, I will, if I can grab the hard drives or tapes or whatever, the security cameras. I don't want any footage of the people being petrified available to anybody. Because, yeah.
Easy enough to do, as you can hear people panicking and running out of the rooms outside in the hall. You run in, you find the hard drives and the PCs, and you begin tearing everything out to carry with you. Marquez, in a moment, you are surrounded by other children and teachers as you look up and you can see a fireball exiting one of the windows from upstairs.
I am very awkward with children, so I think there's kind of a backing up and a squeezing of the one child's hand that she's holding, that I'm holding there. And then to the teachers, Hello, everyone. Please stay calm. I am from the gas department. I work for the city. Honestly, they sent me out here. I'm a physician. Do any of you have any kind of signs of any kind of any internal damage? Does anybody breathe anything in? Anyone having any allergic reactions? There's been, unfortunately, a gas leak in the school, and we've had to evacuate everyone. Is everyone okay? And starts trying to do like damage control and examining people. Takes out her gloves again. Starts kind of putting on that show of being medical support.
It's mildly effective, as most folks are just running away from the blast, most teachers directing children to go out into the parking lot, but you are able to mingle with them. The rain has finally ceased, the clouds just beginning to part, and the little bit of sun finally starting to rear itself.
I am putting... Agent Michaels heads to the trunk, puts the backpack and the hard drives in, and Michaels is driving away. He's getting this stuff out of the scene. I'm heading to the green box, so it can be assessed later. And I will text Moore and Moorgate and Marquez that I need to secure this. It's more important than anything. I'll return once it's secured. So
you get a salute emoji back as Marquez just continues to keep up the charade. When the police arrive on the scene, she shows her badge, but like from a random coroner's office, a local coroner's office, something that she uses in place of anything that's going to identify her agency status, and just continues to be helpful. Seeking to aid as much as possible. There's some glances at Moorgate, but you mostly get like text messages from her as she's like standing just a few feet away from you.
The problem is there is no Moorgate.
Oh, Moorgate is gone! I wasn't sure if you would have been able to make it out alive. I'm so sorry.
After a couple of
My
minutes,
condolences.
The police take the boy from you, Marquez, and they say, "Where is your partner?" I believe he introduced himself as Agent Michael.
Agent Michael had a family emergency, unfortunately. Sick child. But he should be back soon. He's my ride.
Ma'am, we're going to have to ask you a couple questions. Will you come with us?
Of course.
Agent Moorgate's body is found, burnt to a crisp on the second floor. The firefighters are able to put out the fire. But Marquez, this person was associated with you. They were with you at the Williams residence, and they implicate that there is some kind of terrorist activity going on here. I'm going to ask for a bureaucracy roll from you to determine what the authorities do here.
Okay. That's a failure. She stumbles over her words, trying to grasp any kind of reasoning that she could have. The children aren't any help. They didn't see anything. She can't pretend to regale these police officers with stories of how great Moorgate was. The kids only knew the sound of his voice and very briefly. And I think she grows quiet as she realizes that the story she's telling isn't able to be corroborated by anyone.
Agent Michael, you are able to turn this children's backpack and these hard drives to a green box, a local green box. And the next time you check the news, there is a story about a terrorist attack at the Perkins School for the Blind and a APB looking for someone posing as an FBI agent.
Okay. Agent Michaels gets rid of his burner phone. And I'll contact Clark on a different phone and tell him I put like a post-it note or something to like "do not open" on the backpack and "do not look" underlined, and the hard drives and the object in question are in the green box. I'm going back to I guess I'm in my I guess in my day job, Agent Billings is in Boston. So I'm just gonna go back. I'm just gonna go back to Boston and just take my personal day. I'm just taking a personal day off. So I'm not contacting Marquez. I am going to ground. I'm driving away and washing my hands of it. I've done my part as far as I can tell, and it is up to the rest of the outlaws to deal with this game that is in Ontario, so I can't even get there anyway. I got the object at least. Michael's not having a good day, but not probably as bad as Marquez. Yeah.
Probably not as bad as Marquez. Give me a sanity check.
Yeah, that's a helplessness, I would imagine. Yeah, I make that. I do succeed.
You lose 1 sanity as you realize another team of yours has fallen apart, and you are effectively the last member of that team. And I think that's a good place to end our session there. Thank you again. Those of you watching, please check out their channels on Patreon. They have lots of free content, but they have a lot of excellent content that is worth checking out and paying for. So thank you guys for joining me so much.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for having me. Real fun to be here. Had a real good time, and in classic one-shot fashion, I'm like, oh, I want to play more.
Yeah.
Guys, next week.